Kia ora. Insomniac's next entry into their Marvel PlayStation universe releases this October. I cannot wait. I've been counting down the days since I 100%ed the game again for like the 5th time. I want to go over some of my favorite LEGO Spider-Man sets, both from past and present-ish. If you enjoy these reviews, liking and subscribing does help to support this channel. And today we're taking a look at a comics-based set that I bought some years ago to improve my display of the Daily Bugle set, one of the earlier, more successful videos on this channel. I bought a bunch of extra Spider-Man sets to make a display a bit more grander than what they were offering. Entirely purist, no customizing involved. Check it out if you haven't seen it already. It was a set that I was always intrigued by because it felt like it gave you everything that you possibly needed from some rather important key players in Spider-Man's world, plus a few extras that go a long way. This is Doc Ock's Tentacle Trap, which released in 2016 as part of the best ever LEGO Spider-Man wave, and probably one of the Marvel Superheroes line's best efforts too. It retailed for 100 NZD, which I think I paid that same price as well, and I only got it a few years ago and in sealed condition, which I thought was a really good deal. The set overview here is Doc Ock's Tentacle Mech and a police speedboat that features Captain Stacy. It's pretty cool, let's get into it. Captain Stacy comes in to help with a police speedboat here. It is a very simple but nice inclusion, because water-based vehicles are not a regular thing here for superheroes. It's cool to see someone like Captain Stacy here as well. The roster of civilian characters growing larger is appreciated within the Spider-Man world. There's a web at the back here for Spider-Man to grab onto because Spider-Man was included with a surfboard, a piece that I actually forgot to bring with me when I was filming all of these when I visited home. So here it is in the present, 3 months after filming and precisely 1 month before publishing, looking at a surfboard that I forgot to include originally. It's a standard LEGO surfboard piece with a couple of nice stickers so that you're able to know who this belongs to, and the function is that Captain Stacy is supposed to be dragging him along. Let's get into the mech now because it's really cool, I swear. It's one of the better mechs I've ever had. It stands at around 7 inches tall and it has all the articulation that I could possibly ask for a brick-built octopus-like mech. Immediately, I love the colors that have been chosen for this mech. It really helps hone in that old-styled cartoon comic design for him. His arms are connected to the build and used in the mech, but they can also be detached and equipped onto him. And there's a few other play features here like cannons with studs for ammo, the rapid shooting kind that can sometimes cause studs to get lost. These legs are very impressive to me, but be warned, they're very boring to make. It's 4 of the exact same build and they're pretty substantial, so you'll be building them for a while. The legs are shaped to form and resemble an octopus, even with details like those suction cups. They are purposefully articulated to be bent so that they can hold the weight of the mech, and if you're a regular follower of this channel, this won't be new to you, but I love when LEGO can manipulate builds like this to hold the weight of something. What I mean by that is, these legs are never actually laid flat onto the surface, they stand upright at all times, and the weight is just held on the ends of these legs. It's very impressive and it's really fun to play around with. The torso has its own rotate so that Otto can quickly maneuver around. The cockpit is a little lacking in its design. This harness is actually built into the build as a foundation, so there's no interactions here. Otto has a control panel here, and he also has a peg on his back, which LEGO have made sure to accommodate into the build. He just simply slots into this section here. The cannons are actually pretty cool. They are these giant canisters with some stickered details. You've probably seen these work before. You can rotate the cannon around and it will rapidly shoot some studs. As you can see, I did lose a stud in the process of building though. Near the cannons are the arms, the most recognizable feature of Doc Ock. When they're attached to the mech, they have a ball joint articulation, which they will not be carrying over unfortunately when they're attached onto Otto. The arms are really big here for the first time in LEGO Doc Ock history. They were bigger here so that they could match the design of the mech and be proportioned appropriately. Up top there is a little handle that you can rotate and it makes the arms move around for some swinging attacks. It is a really cool feature that resembles those 90s toys that I loved so much, a gold standard for a design like this. Here at the back though sits the backpack piece for Otto kindly stored away. This is how we can connect the arms onto him from the mech. You leave the ball joint sockets in the mech, which unfortunately means that it will lose all of its articulation, but it's the only way to connect them and be size appropriate. This is Spider-Man. Currently, this is the first time that I'm covering the 2012 basic Spider-Man figure. He was released in a lot of sets until he was eventually retired and then rebooted in the standalone LEGO Spider-Man line. Recently I had covered the construction site which featured this same figure, but he had legs that featured dual molding, which made that one the better version. I always liked this LEGO Spider-Man figure, it just got tiring really quick, especially when he's being released alongside regular new variants of both Iron Man and Captain America. It can be tough on Spider-Man to just be the same guy for 6 or so years. He's nice though, it does feel like a cartoon. This is White Tiger, a character who I am not at all familiar with. She's fairly new to the universe, debuting just over 10 years ago now, and was featured in the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show. From my research, she appears in the show as a regular. She's part of a small little SHIELD team that helps Spider-Man out from time to time. Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Nova are also included in that team, and all 5 of those characters have had LEGO minifigures based on their appearances from this show. She is very cool. She uses those Black Panther ears. LEGO would make sure that they definitely got their money's worth on that piece. She also uses this ponytail piece that was new at the time in 2016. I think it was also used on some Ninjago sets that same year. I've never really liked it, to be honest. It requires another plugin that LEGO had not perfected yet until they released the stud with a hole in the top, which helps with that connector quite a lot. Here though, it just attaches to the Black Panther ears and it's pretty loose when she's being moved around. I like her for this enigmatic presence, but that's only because I don't actually know who she is. Captain Stacy, like I said, is a character that has appeared throughout multiple different iterations of Spider-Man now, so it is a really cool character inclusion to get here because it's just not likely that we would get a Captain Stacy. It's very unlikely that we'll ever see him in a Spider-Man set again, unless he features in an MCU movie and a big name actor happens to play him. I like this torso. It's very funny to me that we got a Captain Stacy years before we got a Gwen Stacy minifigure. Distractingly though, he uses Doc Brown's face. It's just too specific for my personal liking. And here is Vulture, his first time actually appearing in LEGO, and to this day, still the best variant of him, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. I adore the simplicity of Vulture here, using the traditional Falcon plastic wings and sporting a bright green colored torso. He would only appear one other time using Falcon's wing piece here, before eventually also falling into the wings curse by having these awful brick-built contraptions. The brick-built designs are fine, but they're massive. It's too overscaled for me. I really loved them when I first saw them, but then I had to try and display them, and that's when I made the decision to just go straight to the comic variant of winged characters as my personal priority. He has no printing on the back of his head, but printing on his back if you do remove his wings. Here is Doc Ock. Otto has had quite a few figures over the years, and the comic ones were always rather interesting. I love the vibrancy of the green and the yellow. I really like that lab coat looking one as well from that heist set, but coats shouldn't be printed for me. I can't believe we still to this day don't have fabric coats officially released by LEGO. This guy features his regular plain attire and some great expressions. The bowl cut hairpiece I absolutely hate, works really well for these comic book based characters, and he has my favourite set of buildable arms ever made for a LEGO Doc Ock figure. Here they all are attached onto him. You can just see how much they tower over him. Flattening out the bottom ones here mean that they can actually support his weight and carry him. This right here was the absolute key defining feature for me. These are the only arms that can do that, and for this alone, he is the best iteration of the figure easily. The instructions for the set were featured in just one book. It was around about here when the theming began to die down a little. We have images of the features included in the set and an advertisement for the best LEGO Spider-Man wave hands down. That Ghost Rider set is still one of my favorites, and the bridge is probably still the LEGO Marvel line's best ever playset. An ad for the LEGO website and an ad for the game of LEGO Avengers, which has been mentioned here on this channel before. Every LEGO superhero set included a small issued comic book that depicts the sets that were released in the wave, and it told the story of the scenarios that played out. This comic also features a roster of all of the Spider-Man figures that released in the wave. Unlike some of the prior release sets, this comic here actually only features sets released during the Spider-Man wave. They really did go all out for this one. The Doc Ock Tentacle Trap features some of the best elements of the LEGO Superheroes line, a very memorable and playable set with figures that are still their best iteration to this date. It represents the theme really well, and it released in a wave that I still hold on the highest pedestal today. If you enjoyed this retrospective look at an old LEGO Spider-Man set, liking and subscribing helps to support this channel in making more videos like this. Ka kite ano.